So Alandra, you've described yourself as being, through the last 15 years and making different mistakes and, learning experiences. You are very disciplined now. So take us through the process of when you actually sit down and start to write. When you're working on one chapter and then you segue to the next. What do you do?
Well, are you talking specifically this book, or are you talking in general any book that I've written? Both. Well, basically what I do is when this story that I have formulated in this intricate, detailed story that I've formulated in my mind, I go to the computer and I write it down. I don't look at grammar, I don't look at anything, I just put down the thoughts that are in my head, just basically this whole story. Then what I do is I work it basically through the beginning to the end, where I want the characters to start off and where I want them to end. And then I start filling in between. And how I go about doing that is taking the characters and building chapter for chapter of how I want them to progress along this journey that I'm taking them on to reach the end.
So don't you go back, like if you've, say, written 3 chapters in one day and you're just proofreading, you go back to the first, do you find that you have to do a lot of editing, or you just kind of leave it as it is?
Well, I don't really do any editing until I've got all my thoughts down for the book. And then I go back, and that's when this long process of editing takes place. And for me, editing is in various stages. My first set of editing would be basically getting the characters the way I want them. Then the next editing would be getting the setting the way I want it. Then the next editing would be having the storyline flow through. What other secondary characters do I need to help my 2 main characters on their journey to get from A to Z? That's where all my research comes in. Where does it take place? What do they do? I can't possibly know everything. For example, the book that's coming out, there is a lot that takes place on a ship. Mm-hmm. And not having had any nautical experience whatsoever, I had to do a phenomenal research on ships. And it wasn't just a matter of going to the library or searching it on the internet or getting that information. I wanted to know exactly how it feels to be on one of these tall ships. Like, what do these people feel like? The wind in their face, the
smell of the salt air?
Yes, exactly. What's all on the ship? What do all the crew members do to pass the time on the ship? So I then go and I talk to people who have actually done that kind of work, who can give me firsthand experiences of what actually happens on there, how they feel, what they go through, what the schedule is from morning till night, and then put myself into that kind of a setting so that I can actually know what my characters are capable of doing and how far I can take them on the ship and you know what I mean? That kind of a thing.
So you're almost like an actor or an actress, like Natalie Portman researching her role for Black Swan.
Yes, I guess you could say that, yes. I try to put myself into the role of the seaman or the captain or whatever, and try to get as much information to build around that as possible so that I can describe it to my readers in the best possible way.
So that it is credible then, that's what you're saying?
Yes.
Any other experiences, like where else did you go to research for the book?
Well, I've done a phenomenal amount of research for that book. I don't know if it was just because I picked topics that I happen not to know anything about, but I had to do a lot of research. Some part of the book, not so much in the first one, more so in the second one, takes place in caves. So I had to find out a lot about the natural environment in a cave. Is it conducive for living purposes? What types of caves are conducive to that? How does it feel in there? What does it smell? Are there animals in there? How do your eyes adjust to the light or to the darkness of the cave? What do you feel when you're in one of these caves for a longer period of time? All those things. So I then, like I said again, instead of just getting materials from the internet or out of a book, I actually go and talk to cave dwellers and find out firsthand, through their senses, what it's like to be in a cave.
So that probably would be some of your advice then for a first-time writer. You can't just talk to talk, you have to walk the walk.
Exactly, exactly.